Okay, guys. So I'm super excited to hop on here tonight and share a little bit with you about our leadership training we did at the RVP, or not RVP, but the VP retreat that Cecilia does every year. Absolutely 100% something that should be on either your dream team or dream board, goals for next year. To put it in our best perspective, I liked how Victoria explained it to somebody today. It's like a mini GTC, but in a more intimate environment, and everyone is a lifer in that room. So obviously, mostly people that go to GTC are pretty serious about it, but these are people that are 100% all in, which actually brings us to our topic and kind of theme for this evening's call. I'm actually going to let Victoria take it over and do the training because you guys hear from me all the time. And we're actually doing a nation call on Tuesday, so you'll hear from me a little bit more. But she's going to share with you some tips and things that she learned this weekend about being all in your businesses. This is Victoria Vameter. She is a regional vice president. We met at Impact Training last year in Dallas. Definitely a definition of somebody who is all in. We went into qualification for region together. We then were in California at the RVP to B training and finished region within a few days of each other. And since then have just been kind of push partners and an example of the friendships that you make outside of your own success line in this organization. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to her and let her share a little bit with you guys.
Wait, we should put this on Do Not Disturb so that it doesn't.
Good idea.
Anybody can be a VP, you guys. Okay, so hi, I'm Victoria. Like you said, I'm a regional vice president with Arbonne. I've been with this company, well, just this business in general, for about a year and a half now. I'm from Delaware, so actually nowhere near Texas. It's a long story as to why I was in the Dallas Impact, but I'm just really excited to be on here and just kind of share, my thoughts on this. I think it's always great to, hear from other VPs, and so I also can't wait to hear your tips too. And so a little bit about my story is I actually have my bachelor's degree in fashion merchandising. And so for me, I realized that I did not want to live the 9 to 5 life. I wanted something so much more than just that. And so long story short, it was December of 2017 when I actually signed up for the business. Before that, I was pretty skeptical. My upline is National Vice President Katie Kaz, and she reached out to me about 4 or 5 times, and I was just like, I don't know. But when I decided to jump into the business, it was because I was completely broke. And honestly, I'm can't wait to share about being all in, because for me, I really had no choice but to be all in from the start, because I was so broke. I needed to pay for my student loans, and I really didn't have a direction of my life because I knew that I didn't want to go into the fashion industry. I was just bartending before, but I also knew that I didn't want to be a full-time bartender either. So when this opportunity came along and I really took a look at it, I was like, wow, this could actually shape the life that I want to live. And so from the start, I was pretty much all in. And so this is also something that we heard so many times from so many different VPs. I honestly feel probably 75% of VPs said to be all in with this. So many people, they're like, well, yeah, I love Arbonne and I love the business, so I'm all in, but it's so much more than just that. And so I'm going to kind of give you a few of my biggest things about what it means to actually be all in this business. Number one, it means that Arbonne is at the top of your list, right? It's making it a priority. It's saying yes to social events, to be intentional of making connections with people, but it's also saying no. It's also saying no to things in order to grow your business. It's saying no to happy hours. It's saying no to things that fall during Pure Impact or GTC, so you can make it a priority to be there and other people can see that as well. Something that Ashley Strong said that I loved is, and you hear this all the time, right? It's about making short-term sacrifices for the long-term gain of things, but it's not about needing more time, right? We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's about prioritizing the time that you do have. So number one is that Arbonne should be at the top of your list. Number two is not being an undercover Arbonne agent. And so I'm sure you guys have it in your Instagram bio, but if it's not, your title and your link should be in your Instagram bio, because then when people come to your profile, they immediately see what you're doing. They shouldn't have to, search through all your story highlights in order to see that you do Arbonne. Be proud of what you do. Number three is staying consistent and being serious about growing this business and growing your income. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but we can't crash diet our business, right? We can't just, work it at the end of the month. We have to work it consistently every single day, even if it's just for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Number four is being intentional with your ask, being intentional with your time, being intentional with the podcasts that you listen to and the books that you read. And I can tell you this was a major shift for me over the past 6 or 7 months, was when I get into the car, and especially if I'm by myself, I really don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts. I listen to books. That means being all in with this business and bettering yourself. Number five is owning the fact that you run your own business. So many times I hear people who say they come up to a consultant and I actually feel like I used to be guilty of this, is people go, oh, what do you do? And, you say your actual job, and then you go, oh, and I do this thing called Arbonne. And I'm like, no, own the fact that you own a business. And something that I love that Ashley Strong said was, when people ask her what she does, she says, I help people with their health or wealth or both. And that automatically also leaves a question of like, oh, well, can you explain more to that? But she acts as if it is her own business. And so I absolutely love that. The number, I can't count, number six.
Roman numerals are not my thing.
It's fine. I know, me either. So number six is, and I just mentioned this before with my story, is acting as if it's not an option to not become successful. And so I want to say becoming a regional vice president or becoming an area manager didn't happen on accident. I promoted to area manager in 3 months into my business and regional vice president 13 months into my business. And that was because I was all in from the start. And I know I already mentioned that before, but I really believe that because I honestly had no choice but to make this work because I needed to pay my bills, I kind of put the blinders on, right? Like I didn't even think about the head trash. I didn't even think about what other people were saying, because also if you don't think that people are saying things about, us still as regional vice presidents, you're completely wrong. We still get it, but we just put our blinders on. And I think I had that mentality from the start. And so, I tell my team this all the time is I don't care if you're making 6 figures with your current job right now, you need to act as if your life depends on this business, if you actually want to be successful. And I will say for me, the biggest thing is, even with money, your time is so precious, right? Like we can't get back time with our loved ones and with our family members and, with our babies. Like we cannot get time back. And so I think just in that aspect, you should act as if your life depends on that, because you actually should want to have a life besides your normal 9 to 5. And then one of my last points is, being all in means showing up when nobody else does. And you're going to have people that join this business, but you're also going to have people that leave. And that's just the honest truth. And if you think that we haven't had so many people leave our business, you're, again, completely wrong. It happens all the time. But the most important thing, going back to being consistent, it's also showing up for yourself. And showing up for your business. And I totally forget which MVP said this, But each new national vice president, when we were there, they each spoke for about a minute, and they told their 3 top tips. And her number 1 tip was to just stay. And that's something that like really hit home, because I think there are times where we feel like maybe this isn't for us. Like we want it to work so bad, but maybe it's not for us, but that's not the case. It's just, we just have to stay and we have to dig deep and look at our why. And so I just think that is so important to show up, especially even if nobody else does. But most importantly, and this is something else that was talked about a lot, is belief. Being all in means that you 100,000% believe in yourself and believe that you can do this, believe that you can be a regional vice president, believe that you can be driving that Mercedes, believing that you can be training on that stage, believing that you can be walking the stage of GTC, you know, envisioning this life for yourself and believing that you can do this. And something that Cecilia said over the weekend, she goes, I want you guys to dream so big that people think that you're weird. And I love that, because I think that I used to be so scared of dreaming big. I, you know, could have a vision board, but it was really, I was capping it. It wasn't to what I really look at my dream life. And now, you know, I think that sometimes your dreams should almost feel like they are unattainable, especially to other people. But for you, you believe that you can do that and you can achieve those things. And so I think that's so important of being all in, is really being all in with yourself first. And, you know, never doubting that you can do this. And so that was my biggest tips for being all in. I don't know if you want to now add other stuff.
Yeah, so we also had somebody share, and again, I forget which VP, I should have wrote this down. We got these binders, and they're called income producing activity binders, and I think that they are going to be super helpful for every single person on our team, regardless of level, whether they started yesterday, whether they started 6 years ago, and help us really make sure that each day we're focusing on the important things. So one of the other things that they talked a lot about at this retreat was winning the day. And a lot of that means prioritizing, looking at the time that you have in your day and making sure every single day when you lay your head down on your bed, you know that you worked your business. You know that you put that effort in to help your business grow. And it may not have shown that day. Maybe you reached out to 3 people and they didn't sign up right away, or you didn't sell 3 kits. That's totally fine, guys. It's not always going to be instant gratification. But you need to be proud of the work you do at the end of the day, and that is winning the day. So these activities, I'm just going to share some. I'm going to post the video, so they have a video with all the attachments about how to create your own income producing activity binder. I would offer to do it for you, but since people are all over the country, I'm just going to tell you, pick up a cheap binder. You know, they're probably on sale now that school has started. Get some dividers, and then just print this information that the flyers that they sent out. But one of the flyers is 100 ways to work your business. And I'm actually just going to share my screen just so you can see it quickly as well. Let's see if I can do this without.
You have to go.
Why is it?
You have to go to Zoom.
Oh, and it's on the internet. Duh.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it only showing me the internet? Okay. Start share.
Yeah. And then you click on
this.
No. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So 100 ways to work your business, because I know for some of you, if you're newer or maybe you just haven't really dove deep into your business, when we say income producing activity, you get kind of confusing. We've talked about it before. Income producing activity does not mean you sent out 50 RBON messages. That is not income producing. It becomes income producing when there's actually a conversation or an exchange attached to those messages. So,
hey, Kay,
yeah.
are you going to share this as a file on your page?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So these are some ways to work your business. and I'm not going to read every single one of them, but again, I will post these tonight. Give a catalog to the reception areas at your doctor's offices. Leave your business card in every public place you visit. Gift Arbonne for birthdays and holidays, guys. I cannot stress this enough. Christmas is coming. Even if your family is the type of people that are like, no, I don't want Arbonne. Okay, who's your hairdresser? Who's your nail person? It's as simple as bringing them a small gift from the Arbonne line. Who is your mailman? Like, think outside of the box. It doesn't need to be your immediate family, because guys, a lot of the times it's not going to be those immediate people in our family that are going to change our business. It's going to be those random people that you encounter. And a person like your mailman or your nail person or your hairdresser are the perfect people to be sharing that with. So share the little sample sizes and gift those for the holidays. That's why they really recommend, if it's in your budget, to be getting 3 of the holiday I Want It All kits. 1 for you to use for yourself, because again, you have to be a product of the product. That's number 1, guys. You cannot share with integrity about a product and with enthusiasm if you haven't used it yourself. It's so much easier when you have those results to show. Number 2, to show at events. And then number 3, to gift them. So again, if 3 is not in your budget, I highly recommend at least 1. Like, figure it out. If it's putting it on a credit card, your why for that month is you need to pay off that credit card, right? And you're going to do whatever it takes to do so. Host an open house when you get those holiday products. Set them up. Say you want to have, a holiday party to help people get started with their holiday shopping. Let's see. I'm just looking for some good ones. Make your dream team list. Guys, we talk about this all the time. How many of you actually reach out to those dream team members? Do that. One of the recommendations that I heard at the training was, instead of we never want to just copy and paste messages. Times are changing. I know in the past that we've just said, get messages out, but really make it personal to people. That's when you're really going to get some traction. So send a voice message.
Something that I loved that they said is, and I feel like we heard it over and over, was quality over quantity.
Yes.
Because if you really focus on making your message personal and to that person, there's probably more of a chance of them reaching back out to you.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that Madeline Hill and Gabby Lemire said is send them a voice message on Instagram so that they know they're not just a copy and paste message. Say their name in it, because people love to hear their name said. So do that. Ask those chicken list people. And then when they say yes, guys, get them off of Instagram. Don't go through the back and forth trying to explain to them what Arbonne is through a message. Don't do that. Get them off Instagram, get their number. I work from home. You all know that. I can hop on at any point in time and help you share this business with them. 10 to 15 minutes max. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. It won't take longer than that to do that with them. Go to GTC. So that's a huge one, guys. GTC is about to be announced. The dates are the 16th through the 18th of April. And as I said a few months ago, that should be a non-negotiable in your business. If you want to grow, you will figure out a way to make it to GTC. And guys, your business can pay for it. You just have to work it. So if you want to be there bad enough, you're going to make it happen. And you have months in advance to make that happen. Ask your relatives to join your business. Guys, they may not say yes. Those are great people to start with, though. They're great people to practice on. Ask them to host events for you, whatever it takes. Give a local sports team phytospore samples. Go to your local high school, or maybe if there's a town league, go and do that. Make a social media post. Every day you should be sharing Arbonne on your social media, guys. And I don't mean flooding your newsfeed with just Arbonne posts. That's not the case. You don't even need to post your protein shake and say, my Arbonne shake for the day. But you can easily post a recipe for a shake a day, or
like the other day I posted a little boomerang of my shake, or a picture of my shake, and I said chocolate covered strawberries for breakfast.
Yeah, like something that will, people be like, wait, what's actually in that? Or if you're at school, a fizz, like, thank God I have this magical juice to get me through the day. Anything like that. It doesn't need to be always in your face Arbonne. Have a table at a vendor craft fair or job fair. That's something Becca does really well on. So if you're interested in that, reach out to her. She can send you examples of tables she set up, and just some ideas of how to get people engaged and how to effectively collect their information while you are at those things. Ask your PCs if they want to upgrade, guys. Ask them if they want to start getting paid for what they're paying to do now. They're already using the products, and in a lot of cases, they're sharing it with people. They're just paying to do so. So entice them by telling them that they can start to make money doing exactly what they're doing now. Plug in. So I always give everyone credit who hops on these calls. It definitely means that you're taking business seriously and you're looking to grow. Plug in at every opportunity you have. They always say, and even if it's virtually, guys, not everyone at the meeting drives a white Mercedes, but everyone who drives a white Mercedes is at those meetings. So do not miss them. Sponsor. And actually, just back to plugging in, no excuses. Like, we heard from VPs that they'll be at family parties and they'll just step out for a minute. They'll go in the other room. Guys, that creates questions. And one of the things that ENVP Peyton Scheibner said, can't talk, was she constantly, guys, she's an ENVP. She's 23 years old. She has 3 direct NVPs to her. And some of people in her life just don't get it. And they'll say, Peyton, you're always doing Arbonne. And she's like, okay, well, you're always working. It's true, right, guys? So just don't let other people's opinions stop you. I literally was getting ready for my rehearsal dinner and was still on a meeting call. So just don't discount the plugging in part.
And I for sure have been out to dinner or maybe like out to a happy hour or whatever, and I will leave the restaurant and I will go in my car and sit and plug in to, and I get shit for it sometimes. Sorry, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you can say, yeah, 100%. We're from up north.
I know people are like, I get so many people, that are like, oh, like you really have to do that. And I'm like, well, didn't you just work 9 to 5 today? I actually just get to choose when I work my business. And right now is when I choose.
Yep. Perfect. Guys, ask for referrals. Ask people for their testimonies when they're using the products. Share your own results. That speaks more than anything to people. Show them your actual life with Arbonne. They follow you for a reason. They don't follow you to see mine and Victoria's results on your page. Are they great to share other people's results? Yes, but they want to see yours. Be duplicatable. Do whatever it takes to do exactly what your VP tells you to do. It's so important. You can't be coached to go area by an area manager. You can't be coached to go DM by a district manager. You need to plug in and really reach up to your VP and be willing to do the whatever it takes. You have to have that mentality. Learn to visit the source. So I get some silly questions sometimes, and that's totally fine. It's a learning experience. But just know the source is literally an encyclopedia for everything you need to know. If you're curious what's in a product, you can easily find that out. If you're curious if any of our products contain one ingredient, you can look that up. Be intentional, like Victoria said, and get out there and, learn your business. You don't need to know everything, guys, but it is easy to get those answers. Sponsor, guys. Just continue to sponsor. Keep reaching out to people about this business. Don't just say, you know what, I sponsored 3 people. Awesome. Like, that was my goal for the month. I'm good. Because guess what? You want to sponsor 3 people, or if you sponsor 3 people, you want to keep asking as if those 3 people you just sponsored are going to quit tomorrow. They're going to ask for a refund. And one of the other things I heard at the meeting was, or in book events. So don't just take a no. If somebody says no to joining your business, ask them to host an event. Ask them to try products. Don't just be like, oh yeah, girl, I totally get it. I'm busy too, and leave it at that. And just keep asking people to do events for you or one-on-ones. So somebody said, if you were to get $1,000 bonus for every appointment and event that you booked on your calendar, how many would you book? Guys, you have to act as if you're going to get that $1,000 bonus. Okay. So just work like that. And then just making sure 40 faces every month. I would go to argue that 40 faces is
bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Yeah. Go above and beyond. And the easy way to do that is going to be those group presentations, coffee dates, etc. And then at least one event per week, guys. At least get something on your calendar. Again, if you're serious like this, treat it like a job. You wouldn't just choose like, meh, you know what? I'm just not going to show up this week. I don't care. If you don't treat this like a job, it's not going to pay, or, you know, $1 million business, it's not going to pay you like one. And you all join for a reason. What are those reasons? Dig deep and remember those. They are not going to happen by themselves. They're not. And if you're unhappy with where you're at, you just need to realize that you have chosen to be where you're at, and you have that same choice to get out of where you're at. Where do you want to go? You can do it. You just need to take action. So guys, just go for it. I don't want to read like all these off. I kind of already went off on a tangent and I meant to just like list them, but you know me, scatterbrain. But anyways, I'm going to post these tonight for you guys. Again, this is definitely an event you want to be at. If you are in Connecticut, Connecticut, New York, whatever, the tri-state area, Impact training is next weekend in Albany. Get there. Figure it out. Get a babysitter. Do what it takes. You need to be there, guys. You need to hear these people speaking. They're going to speak life over you and paint a vision for you. You may not be able to paint that vision for yourself yet. That's okay. Use somebody else's belief until you find your own. And it looks like, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here. It looks like somebody might have sent a message. Becca. Yeah, so Becca's going. So if anybody wants to carpool, there are a ton of people going from Connecticut. I'm sure that they're willing to carpool. Set that up. But guys, seriously, figure out how to get there. And same with GTC. Again, I said I was going to keep it short and sweet. And that was not short and sweet, but it was 30 minutes on the dot.
30 minutes
actually,
on the dot.
So I would say that's pretty successful. If you guys have any questions, I'll take a couple questions. But I'm going to post these tonight. Get to work tomorrow, guys, and go after your dreams. It may only be it may already be the 15th of the month, but a leader doesn't adjust their goals.
And I just want to say one more thing, is that if any of you have been to GTC, obviously, then you know the incredible feeling of walking into that stadium. But honestly, I didn't know what to expect from this weekend. And Katie asked me, she goes, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how was it? And I said it was a 20, because it just was so incredible to know that you are there with like-minded people and just other people that want nothing more than for you to be successful. And it just was such like an intimate, and just, I can't even explain how, like, I feel like when you walk into that, it's like, wow, okay, I actually should be so proud of myself. And I want you guys to feel that way every time, no matter if you are a consultant or district manager or area manager or whatever. When you walk into like Pure Impacts, like, you should be proud of yourself for showing up. But just, it was so, I can't even put it, I'm like stumbling over my words, because that's how incredible it was to be there this weekend. Like, it was it was better than I could have ever imagined.
We left the hotel at 3:30 this morning, and I'm like, don't worry, Victoria, like, you can sleep, like, get some rest. And she's like tossing and turning in my car seat, and she's like, okay, I can't shut my brain off. Like, I cannot stop thinking about everything we just heard. And like,
I was like, I'm physically exhausted, but my mind is so blown away by everything that we learned. And like, the best part about this, like, it was so amazing to feel that and to, you know, be there. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure she can agree with me, is that it's going to be even more of an incredible feeling to bring somebody there with us next year. And that's honestly the honest truth, is like, going to GTC my first year, it was me and Peter. Okay, my boyfriend. My second year, I came back this past year to GTC with 10 people, and that I was more excited for them than I was for me. Like, I was more excited for them to just walk into that stadium than for me to walk that stage. And so, you know, I think that she can definitely say the same thing. It's like,
100%.
we want this so bad for you guys, but you guys have to want it more. You guys have to want this as bad. Sorry, that was the tangent too. So
perfect.
anyways.
That's what you do when you get us together. Tangents everywhere. But I'm going to stop the recording. If, like I said, if anybody has any